yo.
We're live on the Google Plus.
Oh, we are. I didn't even
Yeah,
realize.
yes, I pushed the button and everything.
I did not know.
While I set up my garage band here.
Well, that's good to know. If you're out there, send us a comment so we know you're there.
Right over here.
It's the only way we'll know.
It is the only way we'll know.
Although you get to see how many people are actually there at a time, right? You can actually see.
I do have a thing on the bottom over here that says number of viewers.
There you go.
But
But I know there's a bit of a lag because I've been in there before when you said there were not any viewers and I have been present.
that's probably just my computer though.
Oh, okay. Live on Google Plus.
That's
You
true.
know, bitches like SummerSlam. Let us know. Oh, somebody's sick. Is your wife sick
Yup.
or is that just pregnancy?
No, that's sick. She's got a cold or something.
Oh, that's sad. But it's summertime. How can you get a cold in the summer?
See, you would think that, but you'd be wrong.
Oh, we do have somebody there.
What?
I don't know. I'm not
That's not
familiar with
wrong.
that particular viewer. Has he been here before?
Hang on. That is Justin Peters.
Yeah.
No. Hello, Justin. Thank
Hi,
you for the
Justin. Welcome aboard, good sir.
select. Done. All right. You all set and ready to go?
Nope. Gotta pee first.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, you don't want me to leave in the middle of the broadcast.
Fucking raccoons. Go get their
I
fucking
know. I know.
tiny bladders. Jesus Christ. Hurry up.
BRB.
Hello, viewers. Hello. This is our big SummerSlam recap show. It's episode 165, and I just realized that I forgot to get the results of the Rundown Showdown. So I will do that while my co-host for the evening is using the bathroom. Stafford. Yes, Justin, we will talk about SummerSlam in just a moment. Once we get going, once we start recording, we will talk about SummerSlam. Well, not immediately, but soon thereafter, we will talk about SummerSlam. Yeah. Oh, that's depressing. I knew I should have shared that more often. Oh, well.
Okay. Oh, another comment.
It is. Justin wants to talk about SummerSlam, so we will
Oh,
talk
we
about
will.
SummerSlam a little bit. So we'll
We
get to
will,
that.
good sir.
I'm
Had to
looking
grab a
at
drink
the.
as well. Minus.
I can hear that.
Yeah, yeah. Gotta
Uh,
be ready. Uh,
I'm looking at the finals of the Rundown Showdown because I forgot to put it in the notes, and
oh yeah, yeah.
it's a little
I
bit.
forgot who the final two are, but I believe I did
It's a little
lend a vote to it.
disappointing, but anyway, we'll get
Ooh.
to that.
Oh no.
It
Wait,
not in
you mean the results or the number of people who voted?
the number of people who voted.
Aw,
All right. So, are you ready to record now?
I'm ready. Yeah.
All right. Then we shall begin episode 165. Once I click that and that and that. In three, two, one, record. This week's episode of The Rundown is brought to you by the Bella Acting School. Learn how to emphasize certain phrases by stepping towards the camera and then awkwardly stepping back to your home position during pauses. Learn how to emote by yelling the last word of your sentence. And learn how to ruin a possibly semi-interesting story by putting together the worst opening segment in recent Raw history. You can learn all this and more at the Bella Acting School. It's being reported that Hulk Hogan is upset with Brock Lesnar over Brock going off script and calling him Grandpa during his birthday party on Raw last week.
Oh.
Now, he does have a point. Hulk Hogan doesn't have grandkids yet. Not that he and Brooke haven't been trying.
Oh, yeah. Well played. For some reason, it took me a minute to get that, and I have no idea why.
Gross.
You would think it's the first time a heel has ever called a legend old before.
Yeah.
It's a completely new tactic that Brock tried there.
Yeah, it's weird. So,
as is my theory, I think I've shared this theory with you before on this show. My theory is that the WWE pays Brock by the word, so they try to keep it. They try to keep his mic time minimal because it's in his contract. Yeah.
Let's get to the rundown.
Let's do it. Cue up the theme music that the people watching right now cannot hear.
See, but if I keep that in, then people complain that there are people talking over the theme song when they listen on iTunes, or Stitcher. So,
okay.
Either way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
More solid than Seth Rollins' cinder blocks. It's episode 165 of The Rundown. My name is Adam. I am your host, and it is Wednesday, August 20th, 2014. Joining me this week, he is the mammal who's filling in for the man who replaced the man who was replaced by this mammal. Raccoon Reigns is here.
So a priest checks into a hotel. He says to the concierge, "Excuse me, sir, is the pornography channel disabled?" The concierge says, "No, it's regular porno, you sick fuck." Oh, are we on? Are we on? Sorry. Yeah. Welcome. Hey, Raccoon Reigns here. How's it going?
What is the pig's name?
Would you like to know the pig's name?
I would like to know the pig, because we haven't met the pig yet.
The pig's name is Kevin Bacon.
Of course it is.
It is.
So we are all now 1 degree from Kevin Bacon.
We are all 1 degree away.
My wife wanted to point out that humans are mammals too, but I can't call Raccoon Reigns a man because he's not a man, he's a raccoon. So
yeah,
there's that.
Yeah, of course. But it's good to be back. It's been a while since Money in the Bank, basically.
So a month or so.
Yeah, so it hasn't been that long, I suppose. No. But it's good to be back. Andy is a coward, otherwise he would be here tonight too.
Yeah, so we have that reader satisfaction survey, and word came down that and so basically based on the results of that survey, we fired Andy, and
yes.
No, I'm kidding. He is on assignment, but we'll get to that later. So quickly looking at the numbers, we are up to 136 followers on Twitter. That is up 10 from last week. Hooray!
Oh, excellent.
Moving on to official listener, Mike Deal still owes me $10 from 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Mike.
$10, not $9.99.
Nima Azar, $5, no book. Glenn Morton, $10 and a book, but Glenn owes me $25 for my SummerSlam predictions because I went 5 for 9. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Yeah.
Nothing else has changed. Darren Glass is still our official listener with $25 donated and 2 books purchased. If you want to become official listener, donate to us on PayPal. Go to rundown.podomatic.com and click the PayPal button on the right-hand side of the screen. Donate at least $26 and buy at least 1 copy of this here, a PDF file of this here chat book at tinyurl.com/distant horizons, and you can be the official listener too. Shall we rewind?
We shall. Did you get to that comment? That comment is one way that was over there.
Our new friend Justin, who was watching and then disappearing and then coming back and then disappearing, said that was funny. So
yeah, I assume he's talking about my joke. I didn't realize we were live on mic there. I apologize. I was telling the joke to Kevin Bacon. My mistake.
Yes, sick fuck. NXT, the Vaudevillains rather, defeat Mojo Rawley and Bull Dempsey to advance in the tag title contender tournament.
Thank God.
Bailey defeats Sasha to become #1 contender to the women's championship by countering the crossface rather into a pin. Very nice.
A crossface?
The crossface, yep.
I would think that would be banned by now.
Sasha Banks uses the crossface.
Oh,
Seen Kalisto defeat Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy. That's Buddy Murphy, not the guy from Beverly Hills Cop. And Adrian Neville defeats Tyler Breeze by disqualification to retain his title. After their loss, Bull beats the crap out of Mojo, which the crowd then thanks him for.
Oh.
Yep. Charlotte appears.
So was that guy not a very popular character?
Mojo Rawley? He's annoying as fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Charlotte appears after the women's match to shake Bailey's hand. The Legionnaires are upset that they aren't in the tournament, and one of them has quite the lisp, and that entertains me.
Are they the Legionnaires of Doom?
If only. Oh, what they rush, eh? Sorry, that was awful. The Tyson Kidd appears as a spectator behind the commentators during the title match, makes his way to ringside, and gets super kicked in the face. He then costs Tyler the match. All three brawl post-match. Then Zayn appears to save Neville from a beating. What could happen at TakeOver 2? I wonder.
I wonder.
Not a bad show. The worst match was the first one, and that's just because it had Mojo Rawley in it. But very solid show. Hell of a title match. Sets up the rematch at TakeOver 2 very nicely.
That's the one on September 11th?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yes, Justin Peters liked. That's what he was laughing at. Your joke towards Kevin Bacon. There.
Oh, good. Okay. I didn't realize that the whole audience was privy to it. My mistake.
Of course. We'll forgive you this time.
Okay.
On SmackDown, Dean Ambrose pins Cesaro, Dolph pins Titus O'Neil, Mark Henry defeats Luke Harper by disqualification, which leads into a tag team match where the Pounds of Justice then beat the Wyatts by pinfall.
Thank you.
Eva Marie defeats AJ by count out when AJ goes after Paige on the outside. Jack Swagger taps out Bo Dallas. He's 18-3 and Bo.
That's not cool.
No, and Roman Reigns pins The Miz. Roman Reigns on Miz TV. Roman punches him in the face. Nice. Later,
Legit
Miz
punches him in the face, right?
What's that?
Legit punches him in the face, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty solid punch. Later, Miz bans him from Miz TV. Then Kane makes a match between them for later tonight. Lana announces that the flag match at SummerSlam, which we'll get to in a moment, is just a regular match, and the winner gets their flag raised above the ring afterwards.
So special.
That's fucking dumb. Bo Dallas explains that he wasn't tapping out. He was trying to reach for the ropes, and the referee just messed up. But that's okay.
I've heard this mentioned before, by the way. I've not. This is not an original thought. Yeah. I've heard it mentioned by a couple people before that Bo Dallas needs to develop a submission move so that when he has his opponent in it, he can say, "Don't give up! Don't give up!" I think that's a pretty brilliant idea.
That would be pretty genius. I would enjoy that immensely. We got to see Slater Gator on SmackDown, even though Titus O'Neil lost. Not nearly as typical as terrible as your typical go home SmackDown, especially for a major pay-per-view. But still, not much important happened. So it was a fairly lackluster program, especially for being the last show before a major pay-per-view. So there's.
Are you saying Brock Lesnar was not on SmackDown? I know it's funny. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
Funnier than your porn joke.
Our listener Justin can break the tie on that one. We can ask him.
Right. Which brings us to SummerSlam, as always, as we talked about last week with this new rundown rewind. The pay-per-views or special events. We'll always get a full recap because not everybody gets to watch them. So take it away.
I did do a full recap.
That's what I'm saying. So take it away, Raccoon Reigns.
All right. Well, folks, are you ready for the biggest party of the summer? Are you? Well, unfortunately, I couldn't get tickets to Rocket Raccoon's Guardians of the Galaxy premiere shindig in the dumpster behind Guy Fieri's American Kitchen and Bar, so SummerSlam will have to do instead. And the pre-show kicked off with a match between two talented guys who have done absolutely nothing noteworthy over the past few months, Rob Van Dam versus Cesaro. Now, sometimes I wonder why Cesaro has been de-pushed so heavily, and then I think back to that promo we cut on Cena a few weeks ago when he said, "Where did you get those shoes, Kmart?" Shouldn't have stopped being a Paul Heyman guy, my man. At least he can do the talking for you. Anyway, this was a solid opener, and RVD ended up scoring the victory when he hit Cesaro with the 5-star frog splash for the victory, although in his advanced age, that particular frog splash was probably 3 stars at best. This now makes 4 consecutive pay-per-view losses for Cesaro. And technically, this one was actually before the event even started. So 7 months from now, when WrestleMania 31 rolls around, I have a feeling we're going to be saying, "Oh yeah, I forgot that Cesaro won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal last year." But don't worry, I see big things in his future now that he's a member of 3MB. Your thoughts? Your thoughts on RVD beating the Swiss super jobber?
Well, 1-for-1 on predictions on that match.
Yes, that's right.
On Facebook that RVD would win.
I was 0 for 1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems fairly obvious that they're going to have the face go over in the opening match, the kickoff match to kind of get people rolling. But not a bad match. I mean, those two guys can scrap, so
They can.
Not bad for an opener.
Yeah. Are you disappointed with the downward trajectory of Cesaro?
Of course I am.
Yeah. It's so weird to see that the guy. Who would have thought that all these months later, the guy in the Real Americans getting the bigger push would be Jack Swagger?
Yeah, and it was 4 months ago that he won the Battle Royal. 4 months. So in 16 weeks, in the amount of time it's taken us to do the Rundown Showdown. Well, no, slightly lost. No, because I started the week after WrestleMania. So in the amount of time it's taken us to do the Rundown Showdown, he has gone from guy who looked to be on the way to at least vying for the world title at some point to.
Yep. It's really interesting that on WrestleMania he gets 2 huge face pops, one for giving the Cesaro swing to Swagger, the other for winning the Battle Royal, tossing Big Show out of the ring, and then they say, you know what? Let's make him a heel. Let's align him with Paul Heyman. Let's do that. Let's make him a heel. That's really smart. And yeah, so.
Justin wants to know what we think of Rob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam?
Yes.
It's kind of nice having him back, I guess. I mean, he still puts on pretty good matches, but I get depressed every time I see him come to the ring because he used to kind of sort of have some energy on his way to the ring, and now he just kind of saunters down there really slow. He doesn't actually jump or do any crazy crap. He's just kind of I feel like they need to get one of those mechanized ring carts that they used at WrestleMania 3 to take him to the ring because he seems like he can barely move anymore on his way to the ring. In the ring he's still pretty good, but he's obviously just there in the Jericho role to put guys over.
Right, except Cesaro.
Except when he beats Cesaro, right? Except on the SummerSlam pre-show.
Yeah, I don't want to call it a nostalgia act just yet because it's not that bad, but I mean he still is. It's not just oh god, it's Rob Van Dam again. I mean he's still entertaining to watch and he can still put on a pretty good match. So I don't mind him being around. I would kind of I don't. I'm perfectly okay with the role that he's in now. I don't think he needs to have a title or fight for titles or do anything like that at this point. But he's a good addition to things like the Money in the Bank match. He's a good addition to Money in the Bank, because he can do this kind of jumps and flips and shit, and get other people over like that. So
yeah,
I'm okay with it.
I'm never disappointed to see RVD in a match. I mean, his days of the 4-star, 5-star matches are probably over, but he can still put on really solid matches.
Right, sure. So, I agree. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, basically the same as Jericho in that regard, too. But, anyhow, so now SummerSlam was officially underway. We opened the show with Hulk Hogan continuing to shill the WWE Network, despite the fact that he himself, right at that very moment, was on the WWE Network. For a real-life equivalent, the next time you're making love to your significant other, in the middle of the act, be sure to yell out, "You know what we should do right now? Get laid!" Well, that's what we're doing. Why? Yeah, it makes no sense. So it's actually pretty remarkable. Vince McMahon has basically taken his most popular superstar of all time and turned him into the wrestling version of Billy Mays. I'm hoping they take it the next step and start altering Hogan footage on the WWE Network. I defeated Yokozuna for the WWF title at WrestleMania 999. You can call this the 999 World Order of Professional Wrestling. What you gonna do when the 999-inch pythons run wild on you, brother? It's a thought. It's a thought.
What
So the first
we actually
match.
didn't
Oh,
mention
sorry.
last week after the show on Raw, during Hulk Hogan's birthday party, the cake that they brought out,
Yeah,
the it didn't have it was his 61st birthday.
61. Yeah.
So it didn't the cake didn't say 61.
No, it did not.
The cake had 3 candles that said 9.99.
It's amazing.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. It was
Is this
clever.
Vince's way of like getting back at Hogan for going to TNA? Like, oh, you want to be back in the WWE? You want to make a little bit extra money there? You're gonna be a corporate shill.
It it was clever a couple weeks ago when Hunter said it nonstop during a heel authority promo. That was
Yeah.
fairly entertaining, but the fact that it has lived this long past that moment, to the point where JBL and Cole and King are constantly saying it during interstitials now, just just stop, just
Yeah.
stop.
I don't mind when Hunter and Stephanie do it because they're the, quote unquote, the on camera,
They're the
the ones sort of
authority. Yeah,
putting over the product. Yeah, they're the
yeah,
authority. They're supposed to put over the product and be like, this is a great deal. But when you're basically trotting out Hulk Hogan to do nothing more than just be a corporate shill,
yeah.
it's kind of weird. And it's not just like it was a one-off thing. He's been doing this basically since WrestleMania, since he was announced as the WrestleMania host. He's basically been trotted out there to just come out and say like, I'm excited to watch the old footage on the WWE Network, brother.
Right.
It's yeah, it's well, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Anyway,
so
to
the
the
first
pay-per-view
match of the,
proper.
oh, sorry, what's that?
He said to the pay-per-view proper.
To the pay-per-view proper. So the first match of the night was a battle of two guys who are billed as being from two different Hollywoods, but are actually both from Cleveland. The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, remember how Miz won the vacant Intercontinental title one short month ago at Battleground by outlasting 19 other guys in a battle royal? Well,
Unfortunately.
yeah. Well, tonight Ziggler hit him with a zigzag and pinned him to take the title right back off of him. Now, personally,
Yay!
yeah, I personally have no problem with Ziggler holding the belt. And as a side note, I'm sure the new German announce team is quite happy to root for Adolf Ziggler title reign. But my main point of contention is that they could have just given it to Ziggler in the Battle Royal last month without padding Miz's resume with yet another short run with the belt. You may recall his previous Intercontinental title reign lasted one day. I guess what I'm trying to say is that some ideas seem smart at the time, but you have to stop for a while and think them through. For example, I was going to debut a character on this show named Grigor, the all-Armenian Armenian, but I thought about it for 13 consecutive hours and then decided not to go through with it. Oh, your thoughts on Ziggler versus Miz?
Again, not a bad match. Good opener for the show. Very glad that Dolph won because I think he should have won the Battle Royal last month to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if this actually leads to something and we don't just have another half-assed title jumping, situation where, by the next pay-per-view it's on someone else, I'll be okay with it. If they actually let Dolph do something with the title, as opposed to, oh, it's on Miz. Oh, it's on Dolph. Oh, it's on Miz again. Oh, it's on Dolph again. Then
Hardcore title, baby. Same rules.
exactly.
Same rules.
Exactly.
Well, with Night of Champions coming up next month, at least one title has to change hands at Night of Champions.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be the U.S. title. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully not the Intercontinental. Hopefully they don't just keep hot-shotting it back and forth.
Exactly. Or the tag titles. The tag titles can change hands.
Oh yeah, the tag titles. That's true. You're saying you want the Pounds of Justice to beat the Usos?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. Would you prefer the Dust Brothers?
Over the Pounds of Justice? Yes, I would.
All right then. Fair
I would
enough.
prefer the Wyatt family, but we've talked about that enough on the show over the past few months. So,
Yeah, that's true. You know what? Make it a four-way dance.
there you go.
Throw all those tag teams in there. So next up, WWE
We had
Divas
a big tag team return on main event this week, but we'll get to that in a moment.
Oh, did we? Oh, I can't wait to find out who it was.
Yeah, you can.
Fingers crossed for the New Age Outlaws. I haven't read the spoiler, so if it actually is the New Age Outlaws, then I'm giving myself a lot of credit. Pat myself on the back. Pat myself on the back there. So, next up was your WWE Divas Championship match. AJ Lee, your champion, against Paige. Since Paige is big on poetry lately, I would like to sum up this match in limerick form. The Divas champ AJ Lee was as confident as could be. But during the match, she got knocked on her snatch and jobbed to a Rampage DDT. Yes, speaking of one-month title reigns, Paige is now a two-time Divas champion after pinning AJ cleanly to win the belt. I'm in favor of this feud continuing, provided the fact that AJ is actually planning on sticking around for a while and not returning to the dingy confines of CM Punk's shitty Chicago apartment to sit around all day watching Walking Dead reruns. Your thoughts on Paige taking the title and the ongoing Paige frenemy borderline lesbian throwdown?
Yes, I'm sure CM Punk has a shitty Chicago apartment.
I thought he does have a pretty. I thought by his own admission he has a pretty crappy apartment full of like lots of comic books and crap. Anyway.
Maybe that's just where he keeps his comic books, and then or that's the apartment that he has for Colt Cabana. Anyway.
Yeah, there you
go. Yeah. 2 for 3 at this point because I got this match right too.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. It was a good little match. Again, Andy has ruined the Black Widow for me. So I can.
Why? Because he said she just has to fall backwards to break out of it, basically.
Because now that he's mentioned that there's absolutely no pressure applied during the maneuver, I can't look at that move and say that it hurts at all. Because if you actually look at it, it really doesn't. But anyway.
But isn't she kind of like yanking your arm a bit too?
Anyway.
I think there's a little bit of pressure there. She's kind of grabbing the broad's arm and putting her leg around her neck. And anyway,
the DDT is very nice. The
rampage,
if that's what you want to call it.
No, that's actually what she calls it.
Oh, is it? I did not know that. I did not.
Rampage DDT. Ha ha ha.
That makes sense.
Yeah, as long as she gets rid of the page turner, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like that submission move though, but she doesn't look like she's doing that anymore.
Yeah, so they'll have the PTO. No, she breaks out the PTO from time to time. She beat Natalia. No, she beat one of the Funkadactyls with it last week, I think, or she beat somebody last week. Maybe it was Alicia Fox. Anyways, she still uses the PTO. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Good match.
Yeah.
I look forward to their rematch. This is the match that they should have had at Money in the Bank, where it was actually a good match. But.
You mean at Battleground? Because we were at Money in the Bank and she fought Naomi, I think, at Money in the Bank when we were there.
Well, anyway, either way, the match at Money in the Bank was maybe I'm thinking of Battleground. You're right, the last match.
Yeah.
So next month is the rubber match. So we'll see what happens.
Indeed, I'm in favor of it continuing. I think they're both pretty good.
Yeah.
So anywho, your next match. Was a flag match, Jack Swagger versus Rusev. Now, typically, when you think of a flag match, you think of a match where the goal was to be the first person to climb the turnbuckle and retrieve your country's flag, or you think of a match where two flags fight each other. This match was neither of those.
No.
In this case, the rules stipulated that the winner got to have his country's flag lowered from the ceiling after the match, which seems particularly anticlimactic considering the fact that Rusev has been lowering his flag from the ceiling after every fucking match over the past few weeks. Really, they should have just billed this as a flag after the match. But whatever. Yeah. Now, because Vince McMahon never passes up an opportunity to be ridiculously patriotic, Swagger was accompanied to the ring by an honor guard of United States military personnel, and some of them were actually holding rifles, so I was holding out hope one of them would shoot Rusev in the ankle to set him up for the Patriot Lock, but no such one. I guess they just don't love their country that much after all. Now, ultimately, Rusev ended up picking up the victory when he put Swagger in the accolade, but just like Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13, Swagger refused to give up and ended up passing out from the pain. After the match, Zeb went to check on Swagger, so Rusev kicked him in the face. The Russian flag was then unfurled, and they even played the Russian national anthem. So to recap, Rusev jumped Swagger before the match, kicked an old man in the face, and forced the crowd to listen to another country's anthem against its will. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he might be a bad guy. Your thoughts on the match, and are the internet rumors true that Vince McMahon shot down that plane over Ukraine solely to add heat to this feud?
I should have gone with my gut on this one. I even said last week that I thought Swagger might win, but then again, it's Jack Swagger. So, should have listened to my gut last week. Oh well.
Yeah, that was one I felt could have gone either way going in, because if Swagger had won, they could have played it up like, yeah, he won the match. Oh, actually, well, no, because, sorry, going into the match last week, I was thinking it would be a standard flag match where you have to climb the turnbuckle,
right?
And then Rusev could pull the old, yeah, he beat me, but he didn't beat me by pinning me, or blah, 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 blah. But, yeah.
Exactly.
But once the match rolled around, it was just a standard match, then it was more likely Rusev was going to win. But,
yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah. So who should be the one to end Rusev's streak?
Well, if we once we get to Raw, apparently it's going to be Mark Henry.
I don't know if he's going to end the streak, but but we'll see. There's only one person I think who really is the person who should end Rusev's streak. You know who I'm thinking?
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Close. Hulk Hogan, brother. Yeah, it's gotta be. It's got.
He is a real American.
He is, and he's
He
had
does,
this same sort of feud with a billion guys over the years.
he does fight for the rights of every man.
He does. That's right. Unless you're from Russia, in which case he will not fight for your right, neither to exist nor to party.
No.
We have a comment on the side over here.
Justin just says, "Who do you pick?" I don't know what you're talking about, Justin.
Who do I pick to defeat Rusev?
Maybe. I don't
know. My brother Roman Reigns.
know. Yeah.
There you go.
He's going to be the one to beat Brock Lesnar, but we'll talk about that later, I guess.
Ooh, I don't know about that. He's got a long way to go. A long way to go before then. If it's going to be WrestleMania, I'm assuming he's got a long way to go before he gets to that level. We shall see.
Yes.
So the next feud, speaking of Roman Reigns, kinda, it was the Lumberjack match, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Now, going into this match, I think we unanimously agreed that Lumberjack matches are shit. But after this match, yeah. But now after this match, well, I still think they're shit, but this was a good one. So basically, the Lumberjacks completely failed to do their jobs as Ambrose and Rollins single-handedly took all of them out, and then they proceeded to brawl through the crowd. At this point, Kane showed up for some reason and told the Lumberjacks they were barely even jacking it, so they had to follow them through the arena. Now, eventually, Rollins managed to run away, and he tried to head for the hills, but some of the face Lumberjacks picked him up and crowd-surfed him back toward the ring, where Ambrose came off the top rope and took them all out. Back in the ring, Ambrose gave Seth a taste of his own medicine and hit him with the curb stomp, the Ambrose alert, but Kane broke up the pin. This caused a massive in-ring brawl between all the Lumberjacks, which allowed Rollins to grab his briefcase, whack Ambrose in the face with it, and score the 3-count. Very good match, and this rivalry is starting to get so heated that I'm thinking the only way they can possibly blow off the feud is if one of them murders the other one live on television. Oh, yeah, right. Your thoughts on the match?
Again, as you said, better than a Lumberjack match had any right to be.
Indeed.
Props to Damian Sandow for actually dressing like a lumberjack.
Yep, that's right.
But yeah, very good. Pretty much what we expected from these guys. Lots of chaos, lots of disorder, fighting through the crowd, beating the hell out of each other, and looking really good doing it. So.
Indeed, every match they've had has been really good. Well, I guess have they only had one match? I feel like they fought each other before. They were supposed to fight each other at Battleground, right?
Yeah, and they didn't. They just brawled some more.
Maybe not every match. Excuse me. Every segment they've been involved in has been pretty entertaining. And I guess this was the first actual match they had. Well, Money in the Bank, they fought each other.
We'll talk about my favorite one ever that happened on Raw this week. But
yes.
But yeah, I can't wait to see where this feud goes in the future.
Yeah. I really don't want this feud to end. I want it to keep going, but
right.
Oh well. So, yeah, good match. Better than it had any right to be, considering. Well, I mean, both guys are talented, but Lumberjack matches are typically pretty dumb. But yeah, thumbs up. Next up.
If only you had thumbs.
Yeah, I do. Kind of. Sort of, kind of. Next up, Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho, with Harper and Rowan banned from ringside because the WWE wants to distance those two jobbers from Bray. Solid match here as the Wyatt 2J feud culminated with Bray hitting Jericho with a Sister Abigail into the barricade, then rolling him into the ring and hitting him with another Sister Abigail for the 3-count. Enjoy this feud for one more month, folks, because after that, Jericho is off to go Fozzie the Buzzards. Your thoughts on Jericho versus Bray?
I've said it before. I will say it again. John Cena, that is how you put someone over. Sure, Jericho got the win last month, but Bray looked like a hell of a competitor in the process, and then picked up the victory this month on the much more important pay-per-view.
Yeah. If you're worried about John Cena not putting someone over, I think your fears would be diminished once the main event of this show rolled around.
Yeah, and they'll have the blow off at Night of Champions, and then Jericho will be off to fuck around Europe some more with his rock band. So.
But neither one of them are champions.
Well, there's only five titles in the company now. You can't have only five matches on a pay-per-view. So
Stretch them out. Half an hour apiece. Paige versus AJ for half an hour. Now,
that
okay.
would still only be a 2.5-hour show.
Well, you got to end a little bit early. Allow for the time in between to do goofy segments, entrances, things like that, and we're good. We're good.
There you go. You get your extra half an hour in
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
promos and vignettes. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So next up, Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon. First off, speaking of matches that have any that are much better than they had any right to be, I would say this falls in that category. And second, let me just say I think it's really nice of the WWE to rehire Vince Russo so he could book an angle for them. Really nice of them to do. But I'll elaborate a little further. So Brie had Stephanie in the yes lock, or a reasonable facsimile of it, which caused Triple H to run to the ring and yank the referee out before Steph could tap. Why the ref did not automatically disqualify Stephanie for that, I do not know, but sure. Brie then jumped through the ropes and drop-kicked Hunter, taking him out. Meanwhile, Nikki Bella had emerged from backstage, and she entered the ring so that both Bellas were surrounding Steph. Now, clearly, Nikki Bella was going to exact some revenge on Stephanie for humiliating her and making her nipples slip out of her top all those weeks ago, right? No. Nikki walloped Brie, helped Stephanie back to her feet, and Steph then hit a pedigree for the pinfall. That's right, folks. It's the breakup of Bella Twins Lestrange. Not since Kane put The Undertaker into a vegetative state have I been so riveted by a sibling rivalry. Also, I was completely confused by Nikki's facial reactions after she leveled Brie because she was almost entirely emotionless. She didn't celebrate with the Authority. She just kind of walked away with a blank expression on her face. Somewhere Steve Blackman was watching that acting performance and saying, "Come on, woman, show some emotion."
See, I
Your
felt she
thoughts
looked
on...
almost sad. Like I don't know, like she was trying to emote, and all that was coming out was sad.
Yeah, yeah.
Either way, it was terrible.
Come on, Nikki, give me sadness, show me sadness. Okay, that was a good try. Let's do take 57. Yeah, boy. Yeah, so your thoughts on Steph picking up the win, and do you think Nikki's heel turn can somehow be sexually transmitted to her boyfriend?
I guess you could call that surprising. I mean, the people we were with who certainly were started calling that as
Yeah,
soon as
yeah.
she came down the ramp.
The one guy we
Uh,
were with called it before, I think before the match even happened. He was like, I
Maybe,
think she's going to win by a Nikki Bella heel turn. I was like, really? I don't know about that, but there you go.
but yeah, but I mean, nobody expected that to blow the roof off the place, and it certainly delivered for what was expected of it, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
Stephanie McMahon had her Undertaker Ministry 1997 outfit on, which was nice, but
Yeah.
yeah, nothing too earth-shattering happened during that contest.
Yeah,
I'd say.
the surprise to me, as I mentioned when we were there, was that I thought back when Steph was Divas champion, with the McMahon Helmsley regime back in like
Right.
2000, whatever it was, she was like the chicken shit heel. She was the Divas champ, but she never actually defended her title because she wasn't really a wrestler. And then that was kind of the opposite here, where she was like kind of on the offensive for the most part of the match, where she was like, yeah, like throwing Brie Bella around the ring. So I was a little bit surprised by that, but hey, whatever. And yeah, she acquitted herself pretty nicely for the time they had. But Nikki Bella turning heel, I don't know. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
How are they going to rationalize this with her dating John Cena? Because they're going to have to acknowledge it at some point, right? That Cena's dating a bad guy now. Blah 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 blah. And even more importantly, what will happen on Total Divas?
Just stop.
Okay. All right. Next up, Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. Now, I felt bad for these two guys considering the fact the crowd was pretty dead for this match because, I mean, come on, how do you follow a Bella Twins breakup? That's just completely shocking. But seriously, though, I think it was because they put this match in the dreaded
Yeah.
spot before the main event,
They
and in this
should
case
have
it was...
they
Oh,
should have
sorry.
swapped. They should have swapped these two matches.
Yeah, yeah. It was the dreaded spot before the main event, and in this case, it was a highly anticipated main event. But with that being said, this was a pretty good match, which saw Reigns pick up the win after Orton tried to make him taste his punt, but Reigns sidestepped it and hit Randy with the spear for the 3 count. Your thoughts on the romantic era rolling on?
Again, another good match.
Yeah.
between these two, and again, not a surprise as to who the victor was. That was my fourth correct
There you go.
prediction of the evening. But yeah, I mean, Randy Orton is approaching watchability again with this kind of return to the Viper thing, but I don't I don't have enough faith in him for it to be an ongoing enjoyment of his product. But we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. But
Yeah,
good for
I
Roman
actually
Reigns.
did. They did swerve me for a minute there when Reigns went for the Superman punch and Orton RKO'd him. I thought they may actually
Oh
have
yeah,
him
yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
over there.
Yep.
For a second there, I was like, oh shit, Randy Orton's gonna win. But then he kicked out. So, but yeah, they did a good job with that, and it was a good match. It was too bad the crowd wasn't into it, but you know,
That's not their
such
fault.
is life. As I think they're still firmly in Reigns' camp, so it's not that big a deal.
Yeah,
And we have a comment over here.
they should have either switched. We'll get to that. They should have either switched
Okay.
Roman and Orton and Steph and Bree, or moved everything up a spot and put the Divas title match right before the main event.
There you go.
Mike Perth wants to know if we like potatoes.
I am a big fan of potatoes.
I enjoy potatoes as well. Thank you,
Is
Mike
he
Perth.
talking about the wrestling version of potato where you stiff your opponent? Because I'm in favor of that too.
Sure. Or our new favorite tag team, Tater Pot.
Yes, there you go. That's right.
There you go.
That's right, folks. Folks, basically, here's a challenge for you. I came up with the nickname Tater Pot for Rob Van Dam and Sheamus when they had that tag team. If you just want to write on the side here, any combination of wrestling superstars, I'll come up with a team name for it. There, the gauntlet has been thrown. Let's see which guys you want me to come up to make a team name for.
That'll be interesting. I will. And if after the show, if you listen to this on iTunes and you come back and you want to play that game, send them to rundownwrestling@gmail.com, and the next time Raccoon Reigns is on the show, we'll have a gauntlet.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Or of course you can call 206-202. Hang on. 6478.
20 angst.
206-202-6478. 206-20 angst.
That's right. It's the Raccoon Reigns Tag Team Challenge.
Yeah. So
take two superstars, put them together, and I'll come up with a name for them.
perfect. And the main event of SummerSlam.
Typically does. What's up?
The main event of SummerSlam.
Oh yes, and now it was time for the main event of SummerSlam. So, WWE World Heavyweight Champion John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Now, going into this match, I had expected to see a hard-fought battle between two of the company's top stars. Instead of a main event, however, what we got was a WWE-sponsored snuff film. Picture early 1990s Vader versus Santino Marella if that match lasted 16 minutes. 16 whole minutes of John Cena playing the role of Mikey Whipwreck, barely able to land a single move on Brock. The last time I saw a beating this severe, it began with the phrase, "I'm sorry, Mr. Big Show, but the breadsticks are not unlimited." After two F5s, 16 German suplexes, and 155 high-pitched screams from one young Cena fan at ringside,
God,
Brock emerged victorious. Yeah, that kid was pretty genius. Brock emerged victorious as your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I may have to check the history books, but I believe this was wrestling's first ever main event pay-per-view squash match, unless we're counting Victory Road 2011 when Sting pinned Jeff Hardy in 90 seconds because Jeff was higher than San Francisco real estate prices. Presumably, due to his part-time schedule, Lesnar will now be debuting a new catchphrase. The champ is occasionally here, while Cena is off to go film a movie called Trainwreck, which will likely live up to its title because he's acting in it. Your thoughts on the shocking sight of hustle, loyalty, respect being victimized into urine, blood, vomit, and your thoughts on SummerSlam as a whole.
That match was a suplex a minute.
It was.
Yeah. We'll have Andy's comments on the show from the road a little later on.
Oh, excellent.
But yeah, I didn't mind. I didn't mind the concept of the match.
No.
I mean, we knew that it was going to be a brawl. We knew that it was going to be a fight. But nobody was expecting what happened, which I think is the good part of it. Nobody was expecting
so
John
Cena
so
one-sided
to get the ever-loving shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Because that's
The
never
thing
happened
is,
before. That has never happened
no,
before. Never have
no.
we had a John Cena match where he got beaten to that degree and did not jump up at 9 and slide in the ring and F5 someone and win.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was shocking in that regard as well. So I mean, it was unexpected, and I think I enjoyed it for what it was. It
Oh
was
yeah.
just an unexpected. Just it was a mugging.
Yeah. It
My
was not a.
problem with it,
Oh, okay.
as I said on Facebook, my issue with the match was the move set.
All the suplexes.
Brock Lesnar was imitating Scott Steiner from the 2003 Royal Rumble.
Right.
Can you put maybe a couple other moves in your arsenal there other than German suplex, and I understand the German commentators were at ringside. You have to
Yes.
press the German commentators so that they could
Oh.
continue saying, "Oh, it's another ass suplex." But
Yeah. Oh, Das Brock is doing an American suplex again.
yeah, that is another ass suplex.
I would just assume the Germans call it an American suplex, but maybe not. I don't know.
But yeah, it's after the 8th or 9th or 10th or 12th suplex. Do something different. Just do
I
something.
was okay with all the suplexes only because the German suplex does look pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Especially the way Cena sold a couple of them really well, where he kind of took it and did a little flip over afterwards. I was okay with it mainly for the fact that it was just so shocking to see Cena get decimated like that. It didn't. It wasn't. What's that?
Reduced by a factor of 10?
There you go. That's right. And you just don't see that happen with John Cena. That's why I was okay with it, because after every suplex, I wasn't like, oh, come on, another suplex. I was like, God damn, he's getting his ass whipped.
And one thing I don't think you mentioned is the fact that Brock Lesnar hit his first F5 like 30 seconds into the match.
That's right. That is true. Yep. And Cena kicked out.
Cena got destroyed.
He got annihilated. It was basically F5 at the beginning, 16 German suplexes, F5 at the end, and that was it.
There was maybe an AA in there somewhere.
There was, and he put Brock in the
oh, that's right. He had him in the World's
STF.
Except he actually applied it fairly decently this time. So.
And he also knocked Brock down at one point, and he did the Undertaker sit-up and no-sold it and kind of just taunted Cena.
Stuck his tongue out and laughed at him, yeah. That was fun.
Also, it's not often that you hear one of the commentators in a match exclaim "Jesus Christ" at how many German suplexes someone is delivering. I think that was JBL who said that, right?
JBL or Michael Cole, either way.
Yeah. If it was JBL, it's particularly hilarious, considering he's the guy who would stiff the shit out of his opponents and then say they were costing the company money if they didn't wrestle when they had a concussion. So that's it's pretty amusing. But anyway, I thought SummerSlam was a really good show overall, and seeing Cena get his monkey ass whipped was amazing. But now the problem is, who the fuck do you put up against Brock, who's a legitimate threat? I guess you could say Roman Reigns, but when you see John Cena, the biggest star in the company, like Mr. Superman, get his ass kicked for 16 consecutive minutes, who can you put up against Brock who would actually be a convincing threat?
Right.
Roman Reigns or The Rock, I guess?
Yeah.
Or at Night of Champions, maybe John Cena again, I'm assuming is who they're going to try it out there.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Speaking of The Rock,
I'm assuming they do want The Rock up against him at some point, but I mean, I don't know if Rock's up for it, but we'll see.
Speaking of The Rock, it's not there anymore, but on the side was another comment from our new friend Mike Perth, who wanted you to come up with a tag team name for Junkyard Dog and The Rock.
Junkyard Dog and The Rock. I'll get back to you.
Oh, can't do it off the top of your head. Got to think about it for a little bit.
Got to take some time.
But no, as I said on Facebook in my analysis, very solid show from top to bottom. Worst match was honestly, I don't even know. I can't like nothing sticks out as something that was truly horrible and worthy of derision.
No, not at all. Which is rare.
Was really solid from top to bottom. I gave it an A-, 8 out of 10. I'd say. I
would agree with that. If you want to say the worst match, I would probably go Stephanie versus Brie, but it wasn't even a bad match. It just wasn't, as technically sound as some of the other matches.
Which it wasn't supposed to be, because it was Stephanie and Brie.
Yeah,
So,
and even that, yeah. So I was entertained thoroughly by the entire show,
right.
almost the entire show. Yeah, yeah, a hearty paws up for me.
There
That's
you
for
go.
sure.
All right, so we move on to Raw, where the Pounds of Justice defeat the Wyatt family. Paige pins Natalia after AJ skips about. Dolph loses to The Miz by countout but retains his title. Cesaro pins Swagger. Sheamus, RVD, and Roman Reigns defeat Rybasshole and Orton when RVD pins Axel. The Dustbusters defeat the Usos, sadly not for the titles. And Seth Rollins defeats Dean Ambrose by referee stoppage in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Nikki informed us that she turned on Brie because she's the evil sister, was basically what that was all about.
Pretty
Uh,
much.
Dean Dean does the ice bucket challenge on Seth, and as I said in what is one of my favorite clips of all time now, where it just pans over and he's just standing there. What? It's for charity. And he throws the bucket at his face and bounces it off his nose. That was
That is a great. Those are
incredible.
great last words by Dean Ambrose. That's the
Incredible.
quote he will forever be remembered by.
What?
It's too bad he's no
For
longer with us.
charity. Then beats him up, gets his rematch, and we get to vote on the stipulation. We'll talk about that in a second. Paige
Mhm.
dedicates her match to AJ because she loves her. The old theme music distraction gets her again. AJ respects Paige, loves Paige, and dedicates her life to Paige.
Mhm.
Can't out crazy the crazy.
Nope.
Paul
Can't do it.
Heyman respects John Cena in another hell of a promo, but hey, what do you
Well,
expect? It's Paul Heyman.
but Brock does not.
After Swagger's loss, Bo Dallas provides an inspirational speech.
Yep.
They're probably going to feud, but as I said to you via text message, I wish they would team up because that would be hysterical.
Hey, they still might. Also, you forgot to mention that Brock was given the new title.
That's right. Yeah. I think I mentioned that down here somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe not. Either way, yeah, brand new belt with the new logo and the phrase World Heavyweight Championship in the smallest letters they could possibly fit on the belt, I think.
There's not probably not much room to fit all that on there.
Yeah, and Mark Henry takes out Rusev. First comment: Eric Rowan body slammed the Big Show. That was
Yes,
impressive.
that was.
I really like the new graphics packages that accompany the new logo. The logo itself is still a bit shit, but the graphics packages are nice.
I
Turns
don't
out,
see that much of a difference between the logo. I mean, it basically it looks more or less the same as the one they were using before. I don't have as big of a problem with it, but meh.
the crowds are still assholes when AJ's in the ring by herself.
Yeah,
Speaking of the
yeah.
crowd, they do not give a shit about that new belt. They did not give a shit about that segment at all.
No, until Brock came out.
Our three choices for Seth versus Dean are no holds barred, falls count anywhere, and no disqualification, which are all exactly the same, except in the second one it's okay to pin someone outside the ring.
Exactly.
We should have added street fight in there too while they were at it. Why the hell not?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Ambrose already wrestles in jeans, and that is a qualifier of being in a street fight, obviously.
What a choice they gave us. Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
And the worst part about that is all three of those matches would have been exactly the same, except if the fans had picked one of the other two, then Charles Robinson wouldn't have had to hurt his hand.
That's yeah.
You know what really helps sell the Nikki and Brie Bella breakup? The fact that they share a Twitter account.
Oh God. They haven't split that one up.
And the one thing I love more than a Falls Count Anywhere match is a Falls Count Anywhere match that mostly takes place in the ring.
Mm.
Your
Oh
thoughts on
well.
Raw?
A Falls Count Anywhere match that didn't end with a pinfall, of course,
Yeah,
which is really nice. It ended with a goddamn murder.
that's true.
That's what it ended with.
Those were some soft cinder blocks.
I guess so. That was like a legit curb stomp. I've been saying for a long time they're going to eventually have to change that name from curb stomp because it's so offensive. But no, the WWE just doubled down on it and said, you know what? We're going to give you an actual fucking curb, basically. We're going to make Dean Ambrose taste the cement. So, yeah. And now he's off to go film a movie, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
Not just if he's actually off to film a movie. I think he may have actually been murdered on Monday night, but
Think of how exciting it'll be when he comes back.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some other noteworthy moments from Raw. Yeah, pretty much the Ice Bucket Challenge was the highlight for me. That's going to be a tough one to top.
For charity.
Yeah, it's for charity. I've done the Ice Bucket Challenge. Uh, I mean, Sean has done the ice bucket challenge. Raccoon Reigns has not. But if somebody challenges Raccoon Reigns, maybe he'll do it.
I was challenged to do the ice bucket challenge. I had to remind people that I actually won the ice bucket championship in a tournament in Rio de Janeiro in 1979. And if they want to see me do the ice bucket challenge, they can get it on demand on the network for $9.99.
Oh yeah. Is
Uh,
there actually footage of that?
you can get it on the network for $9.99.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
What I'm saying is, give me $10 and I'll pour ice water on my head. Anyway, on main event, Sheamus pins Curtis Axel, Nikki pins Natalia, Slater Gator defeat Where in the World is Carmen Fernandiego,
Hmm.
and Big Show pins Eric Rowan. Cesaro takes Sheamus's United States Championship after the match and tosses it to him while smirking, all nonchalant like. Cesaro came out for commentary during the opening match, and then afterwards just kind of took the title, looked at the title, and then threw the title to Sheamus and walked away all smug for some reason.
Nice. Cesaro's feuding for the U.S. title. That's puts him right back. Oh, exactly where he started when he came into the company. Okay, great. Awesome.
Oh, against Sheamus too.
Yeah, there you go.
Hornswoggle came out with Fernandiego and was
Oy.
dressed as a little cow. Did I lose you
That's.
completely? Or did,
Oh
no,
no, I'm
okay.
I'm here. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to process. Trying to
And
process.
and Seth blames Dean's injury on us because we were the ones who voted for them to have a Falls Count Anywhere match, as though either of the other two choices would have ended any differently. Uh,
Yeah.
Michael Cole and Byron Saxton look like your new announce team for main event, which seems odd because it's Michael Cole going to do all 3 shows a week again.
Yeah.
Uh,
Why not? He's just
Hunter,
so good at it that we have to keep him on TV.
this should have gone up in story. I put this in the wrong section. Hunter announces that John Cena has signed up for his rematch at Night of Champions. Uh, the Pounds of
Oh,
Justice
really? Okay.
promo. Yep, the Pounds of Justice promo backstage with Renee proves why these need to be scripted ahead of time.
Hmm.
El Torito is a bull, and Hornswoggle is a cow. More specifically, a cow with udders.
Hmm. Oh,
Is that weird sexual midget role playing? What the fuck is going on there?
so I guess he is a female.
Anyway,
So wait a minute, just so I'm clear, they gave away the revelation that Cena will get his rematch at Night of Champions. They did that on main event.
on main event,
All right,
via
just
an official pre-taped announcement from Triple H.
alrighty then. Good to know.
All right, which brings us to
Hmm.
the listener mail.
Oh,
This is the one that I need.
I hope it's entertaining.
Here's our first message of the week.
Oh,
Hey yo, this is Tommy Montesanti, the
nice.
Rundown's All-American Italian. Coming to you straight from East Boston. I'm here today to talk a little bit about SummerSlam. Boy, did Brock Lesnar beat the crap out of Johnny Cena. He gave him suplex after suplex after suplex, and then he beat him with the F5. Jesus Christ. As soon as he won that title, I started fist pumping all over the place. Fist pump, push up, chapsticks. It's a way of life. But hey, boy, did Brock Lesnar look good on Monday Night Raw with that new title belt. And a great picture, too, of the family. You had Triple H, you had Stephanie, you had Paul Heyman. It was like a Christmas card, kid. So John Cena's got nothing. He's all done now. He's going to be in the retirement home right next to Hulk Hogan. But that's okay because we got Brock Lesnar as the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion of the world. Let me tell you, nobody's going to beat Brock Lesnar. None of those guys can beat Brock Lesnar. Who's going to beat him? Who's going to beat Brock Lesnar? Kofi Kingston? Forget about it. Jack Swagger? Forget about it. Brock Lesnar is bada bing, bada boom, bada best for business.
Catchphrase.
Love it. I also like the fact that Brock's beatdown also made Tommy Moltisanti say Jesus Christ. So,
Yeah, the All-American Italian, which kind of goes in with your Armenian things from earlier.
Yep.
But anyway,
Grigor. Yeah.
so
Debuting next week. Maybe not.
I will look out for that phone call. All right. So the other voicemail that we got, as I said, is from Andy, who is on
Oh,
assignment.
excellent.
Hey, Rundown. This is Andy. I not going to be able to make it on the show this week. I'm actually driving on my way at this moment to West Newbury, Massachusetts. I'm actually heading to the local community college up there, and I'm actually getting a 4-day doctorate in psychonomics. I feel like the WWE could really use someone to take the role of John Cena after his monumental ass whipping at SummerSlam. And speaking of SummerSlam, I'm calling because Adam and I are really, shockingly, at a bit of a disagreement right now over how SummerSlam went. I'm sure Adam already discussed at length, along with Raccoon Reigns, what they thought of SummerSlam. And I've got to say, I am not happy with the pay-per-view. I will start, however, with some of the good moments. The Intercontinental Championship match between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz was actually pretty darn good. I'm really surprised that they gave Ziggler the win. At first, my gut reaction was, I'm not a big fan of it because The Miz really needed a little bit of time to get on a roll with his character. And the fact that the WWE keeps exchanging the Intercontinental Championship title match every single pay-per-view, it seems, or at least to me it seems that way, it doesn't really lend any credibility. I just hope they let Ziggler actually run with the title. Another really good point from SummerSlam was the Ambrose versus Seth match. They made a match with such a ridiculous gimmick actually work, and they pulled one hell of a bout. Hell, even Nikki Bella's heel turn made me mark out. So they did some good things on that pay-per-view. That being said, there were a few things that completely ruined the pay-per-view for me. First and foremost, Hogan promoting the network at the very beginning when I'm assuming many, if not most, of the people are watching on the network. What in the world was that about? Second, Roman Reigns beating Randy Orton. Not saying that the match itself was bad, but saying that Roman Reigns' big comeback was pretty freaking lame. That Superman punch really needs to go. And then finally, the reason for my absolute hatred and anger at the WWE right now, and not because I am somewhat of a John Cena fan, was their so-called main event between Brock Lesnar and the former champion, John Cena. Now, I understand what they're trying to do with Lesnar. They're trying to make him big. They're trying to make him bad. They're trying to make him dominating. That's fine. But if you're going to put the guy against the top man in the company, the match has to at least deliver and not be a repetition of suplex after suplex after suplex. It was ridiculous. It was probably one of the absolute worst wrestling matches of all time, and I've seen Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. I've seen Triple H versus Scott Steiner. This one, I think, ranks above them on the list of worst of all time. And it's not even really John Cena's fault. He was told to go out there and do what he did. But they should have worked out a much more competitive match that allowed, wrestling to happen. And I'm sure Adam will disagree, and maybe Raccoon Reigns will be on my side. I don't know. But I'm sure most of the fans are saying, yeah, down Cena. And I'm saying down with terrible booking. Horrible match. Horrible, just horrible idea. I don't know what they're going to do to salvage it, but I guess that's just what we have to wait to see in the future. So I should probably get off of here. I only have a few more miles to go, and I'll let you know how it all works out. Maybe I'll bust a rhyme or two. So take care. Hope you don't miss me too much on the show, and enjoy the rest of the show.
So there you have it.
There you have it. And there's a comment on the side as well.
Yeah, he came in just in time. Andrew Lister goes, "Hey, that's me!" Just in time. I guess class is over for the evening.
Oh, excellent.
If
Andy,
you can get your shit set up, I can send you the link to. I can invite you and you can take part. But just let me
that'd be amusing.
Just let me know.
Join us late. Join us into the broadcast.
Yeah,
Why not?
You can join us for the news.
That did happen to our old co-host on an episode or two where he joined us well into the show. But I will say, obviously it was not, I agree with Andy that it was not a very technical wrestling match, but this is what you're going to get with Brock from here on out. You're going to get him strong-arming the shit out of people because he's just that's the way they want to book him. They want to book him more as a UFC guy who is in WWE as opposed to a wrestler who used to be in WWE. And actually, I wanted to ask your thought. What do you think about essentially Brock holding the title while barely being on TV, while essentially being there every, I don't know, month, 2 months, something like that? Are you okay with that?
It's been done before. I mean, we had the whole thing with The Rock as champion, where he was a part-time guy. So it's not a new thing. I know Brock's going to be a little bit less often on TV than The Rock was, but Brock has the ace up his sleeve. Brock has has Paul Heyman, and if anyone can sell a title match without the actual participant in the title match being on the program, I think it's Paul Heyman.
But what's he going to do now? Because before he's been on TV because he's been managing Ryback, or he's been managing Cesaro. So is he going to find another Paul Heyman guy in the interim while Brock is not on TV?
I don't think so. I very highly doubt that would happen. Because he doesn't need another guy. He doesn't need another guy when he's got the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Or will Paul Heyman show up cutting promos with the belt, so it will at least be getting the belt on TV?
Maybe.
Yeah. I think this is also in the UFC mold that they're doing this, right? Where, the UFC Heavyweight Championship is defended every, however many pay-per-views. And on the other pay-per-views, they just kind of go with an undercard. Maybe that's also what they're thinking as well. But whatever. Andy is going crazy on the comments over here.
Yeah, Brock being a part-timer and champion demeans the championship, especially if they plan to keep it on him until WrestleMania. Like I said,
strong opinions from Andy this week.
Andy's very upset. He's very, very upset.
He is. Well, I'm just hoping that that with that class he's taking as the Doctor of Thugonomics, he picked the worst possible time to take it.
All that traffic would piss me off too. So.
Yeah, he shouldn't be calling from while he's driving. That's pretty dangerous,
true.
Actually.
Unless you've got one of them cars that has the Bluetooth built in, and I don't know if his Prius has that or not. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tragic. But I guess we have some differing opinions there. It's too bad he wasn't on the show to actually give his opinion, but oh well, what can you do?
I sent him an invite. We'll see what happens.
Oh, excellent.
Shall we show down?
Let's do it. This is the final matchup.
This is the finals. The finals.
Also, by the way, a quick note. If Andy does come in, the trivia game I had set up was a head-to-head between you and him, and the fans want trivia every week. That's so, true. Andy, the gauntlet has been thrown if you want to accept the trivia challenge. But anyway, the Rundown Showdown.
It is acceptable for this to be a longer episode because we are talking about a pay-per-view anyway. So, we're only an hour at this point. But, all right. So, to the finals of the Rundown Showdown, best of The Undertaker's WrestleMania opponents. We were down to two. Your final two. Final two. Triple H and Edge. Let's go to the comments. As always, one fucked Vince's daughter and Test's ex-fiancée. The other fucked Eddie's widow and Matt's leftovers. Well, I don't know. Fuck Paul Levesque. I vote Edge. Doesn't Hunter already have enough accolades? Thanks to all of those crazy bumps, Edge is an applesauce slurping vegetable right now. Let the man have the win, for Christ's sake. Also, he banged Lita, which is pretty cool, and it's something only a few hundred handfuls of people can say they've done.
That's a very witty observation by whoever that was. I agree wholeheartedly with that comment.
Triple H once pedigreed Stephanie so hard her titty came out, and Edge once live sex showed Lita so hard her titty came out. Tough choice, but got to go with Triple H.
So basically, which person caused the better nip slip was the reasoning. Yeah. I admire that.
He just seems more interesting, and I like his promos better. Also, his nose isn't trying to take over the rest of his face, and he wears cool jackets. And the last one just says, I've been listening to Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer all week. So.
Oh, should I have kept going?
No, that's all right. Too bad, Andy. You missed out. If you had actually voted, we would still be going on because this would have had to go another week. But by a one-vote margin.
Ooh, it's close.
20%. The winner, 60% to 40%.
Ooh.
The winner and champion of the Rundown Showdown is Edge.
No! So literally, I was the deciding vote. I feel good about that. I feel good about that.
Like I said, if Andy had put in his vote, which says, "Damn, I forgot to vote. I vote Trips," it would have been a tie, and we would have had to go on for another week. But he
Too
did
late.
not. He did not. So Edge wins the showdown. We will start another showdown shortly. Probably won't be next week, but it will be soon enough. I am running. I'm getting close to having enough entries into the worst moment on Raw or SmackDown showdown.
How can you not have enough? Oh, Raw or SmackDown?
Yeah. The problem is trying to think of them. Let me check my list.
Oh, I could think of a fair number of terrible
Well, I
moments.
asked people to email them in, and you didn't fucking comment on the thing, so fuck you.
Well, I emailed on this. I wrote on the side that Mae Young's hand would be there.
That one's already on the list.
Although Andy disagreed. Andy liked that moment. I said Draws throwing Hawk off the Titantron and murdering him.
I added that to the list when you mentioned it. Let's see, how many do I have? 1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 13. So if I get 3 more, we can have a worst current era moment.
And Katie Vick is on the list, I assume.
Oh, Katie Vick is absolutely on the list. Katie Vick is fourth on the list.
Got to be a front runner.
Yeah.
All right, I'll think of some moments and get back to you.
Yeah.
But those are pretty much the worst of the worst that I can think of at the moment.
I only need 3 more to. It was, and this is actually the idea. Thank you for doing your quick math, Andrew, you bastard. The idea for the next showdown actually started about a month and a half ago, during a moment from Raw that it was the first thing on the list. Which was when Roman Reigns spiked Stephanie's coffee and Stephanie projectile vomited Vicky. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the next showdown right here.
Yeah. Is that going to be on the list?
Oh, that was like I said, that was the first thing on the list. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Roman Reigns drugging Stephanie for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. Andrew, I invited you to the hangout. If you can get your shit together and you want to come and join us for the news,
what's he saying?
Trivia game, but if you're just gonna sit over here and bitch in the comments, then that's your own damn fault. Damn you!
Saying is he declining?
Damn, I forgot to vote. I vote Trips. Damn you, Adam. I demand a recount. Good thing we had 5 votes in the final. It's just like the midterm elections.
Oh.
Midterm elections, there's really no need for them. Anyway, moving on to the news this week.
Yeah.
Slam Wrestling released a report on Canadian fans being upset over the Canadian version of the WWE Network that recently launched in Canada. The Canadian version reportedly features a whopping 39 hours of content at the moment. It is also only available to Rogers subscribers for $11.99 a month, which of course includes the pay-per-views. To quote a Canadian, quote, "It's disappointing knowing what the United States has compared to our WWE Network format. First, the price point is $2 more, but it's Canadian dollars, so it barely counts. Second, we just get scheduled programming and no access to their app or on-demand programming. Before the WWE Network in Canada, we did have an on-demand service that gave us access to things like they have scheduled, but at our fingertips. My first impression hasn't been good, to say the least."
Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they trot out Bret Hart every week to say you can get the WWE Network for just $11.99.
Canadian.
Canadian, yeah, to appeal to the Canadian fans. Have Hulk Hogan say $9.99, have Bret Hart say $11.99.
As previously reported, WWE announced that the WWE Network will now be available for a monthly price of $12.99 instead of the previously announced $19.99 monthly plan. Of course, a 6-month commitment is still available for the cost of just $9.99 a month.
Oh, okay.
The Wrestling Observer reports that WWE's change of price from 19 to 12 for the network was the result of a focus group testing by the marketing team. They realized that the average viewer uses the network twice a week or 8 times a month instead of only using it for monthly pay-per-views. Wonder what those 2 events per week could be. Possibly main event and NXT.
Hmm.
Yeah, based on the data, the customer who orders the network for the price of $12.99 for 1 month will want to stick with the network for a full year and not just order it once a month for the pay-per-views. In programming notes, WWE Countdown has been renewed with new episodes premiering in November.
Nice. I like Countdown. I have to wait till November?
The Monday Night War will finally begin airing later this week, 10 p.m. on Friday after SmackDown.
Oh,
And
that's good. I'm looking forward to that.
It's being reported that Raw and Nitro episodes from that era will be added to the on-demand content at the same time. And the new Rivalries show will premiere in October. And surprisingly, look at Rivalries from the WWE history. So that's your network update for the week.
Well, they need to start getting some new goddamn content because they haven't added anything in a long time.
What, you don't want to watch Total Divas?
That's old content. We have a lot of comments on the side. Andrew, I know people say it breaks up the flow, but I disagree.
Andrew's giving us ideas for the worst moment list. Fake Rosie O'Donnell versus fake Donald Trump. That is on the list.
Yes. Good call.
Vince's death and rebirth immediately after Benoit, his family.
Oh, yep.
I can put that on the list if you think it's worthy enough. And Vince being Hornswoggle's father, that is already on the list.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just remembered one.
Yeah.
I just thought of one. Remember when they had the dispute with the arena with the owner of the Denver Nuggets? They trotted out the fake owner of the Denver Nuggets, and Vince made fun of the fact that his name was Enos. So it gave us the opening segment of Raw with Vince being
I
basically
just another one too.
He was mocking the owner of the fake owner of the Nuggets and saying, "You're an Enos." Yeah. Or how about Vince being murdered at the end of the $1 Million Challenge?
Forgot about that.
That was a really good one. Never explained, but it gave us the great moment.
We can lump those two. We can lump both of Vince's deaths into the same.
Yeah. And it also gave us the great moment of Vince saying to Triple H, "Paul, I can't feel my legs."
Here's the one that I just thought of. JR's ass surgery.
Oh yes.
And what was the one? Was it Jerry Lawler who had the anal bleeding, or was that?
Yes. Okay. Oh my God, that go look back at video of that because it's hilarious. Booker T's reaction, he reacted like he had no idea Michael Cole was going to say that.
Anal bleeding. Speaking of breaking.
So there was no point in announcing that whatsoever. Why don't we add? Speaking of which, why don't we add the walkout angle with Triple H that was completely useless and served no purpose?
Triple H walkout.
Yeah, the one from 2011, that one, not the most recent one where there was sort of a revolt because the Authority was being so ridiculous. But yeah.
Anyway, yeah. The one that ended with Miz and R-Truth beating the shit out of everybody and getting thrown out of the building.
Yeah. Oh, how about the Big Boss Man feeding Al Snow his own dog?
Oh, see, that just makes me laugh. That's not something. I'm looking for moments where I literally go, "What the fuck just happened?" Okay.
I like that you accept that. You accept the Big Boss Man forcing Al Snow to eat his dog, but
that was ridiculous but funny.
Okay.
You could say it's pepper steak, Al.
Yeah.
Anyway, next.
And it's also set up the amazing Kennel from Hell match. So of course, yeah. Anyway.
Next.
Wash off your balls.
Sammy is on the list, Andrew. The Wrestling Observer has more details on Alberto Del Rio's release.
Penis!
Following up from last week. The site reports that Del Rio was, as reported, fired after slapping a WWE social media employee that apparently has been named as Cody Barbieri, the WWE's manager of social media live events, and the incident occurred last week on the night of the SmackDown tapings. The report of Barbieri making a racist joke about Del Rio's job being to clean plates is accurate. One performer for the company notes that the firing wasn't as much about the slap, but how hard the slap was, which was enough to knock Barbieri to the ground. Del Rio was told after the incident that he would be suspended until just past SummerSlam, but the belief is that Barbieri threatened to sue the company, and that forced the company's hand for legal reasons. Triple H called
a memo to anybody in the WWE: you are allowed to slap employees, just don't knock them down with the slap.
Exactly,
Otherwise, you're fine. Yeah,
exactly. Triple H called Del Rio on August 7th to let him know, and he was reportedly furious. Surprising. The Observer notes that Barbieri isn't well liked backstage because he frequently talks down to the talent, but he is a high-ranking person in the company and has the support of the McMahon family. At this time, TNA is very interested in the former WWE star Alberto Del Rio. Word is, and this goes back to Troy's article that we posted on the blog last week about the worth of the TNA title. Word is that if the company can sign Del Rio, they would put the TNA World title on him as soon as he debuted.
Yeah.
Del Rio
Well,
has.
I'm told it's currently on Lashley, so yeah, that I would not be opposed to that.
Del Rio has a 90-day no-compete clause with WWE, so at this time he cannot sign with TNA. He will appear. He did appear rather at last Sunday's Triple Mania event for AAA, but that does not rule him working out with TNA. He's been getting a lot of publicity for his appearance at Triple Mania in Mexico City. The circumstances of his firing are obviously well known now, especially in Mexico, and this has put him in a strong babyface position in the country. While promoting the appearance, he has been using the Alberto Del Rio name, but sources in Mexico have stated that Del Rio's non-compete clause does not apply to Mexico, which is why he can appear. He has also changed his name in the company to El Patron.
The Godfather.
Because that's a name that Ricardo Rodriguez would call him during his announcements. Things are said to be angry and bitter between the sides, Del Rio and WWE. WWE does not want Del Rio appearing either for TNA or for the AAA shows on the El Rey network in the U.S. They are looking to lock him up in a longer-term non-compete deal, similar to what they did with Jim Ross. Ross was dismissed from WWE right after SummerSlam last year, but was not free to work for a rival wrestling promotion until just recently. If WWE opts to do this, they will also have to continue to pay him, apparently. So they're looking.
WWE worried he's going to go to TNA? I mean, Jim Ross, are they worried he's going to go to TNA?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Maybe ROH, but anyway. I think the thing was that since it was a breach of contract, he's actually not allowed to compete in the United States for a full year. That's what I read somewhere, because it was a breach of contract because he actually got in a physical altercation with an employee, which is, I'm sure there's like a morals clause or a behavior clause or something in the contract that he is actually barred from performing in the United States for a full year from when he was fired. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
That is quite interesting.
Next.
Wah-sha-sha-sha, slap a bitch!
Dean Ambrose is the latest WWE superstar heading to the big screen. WWE Studios has announced that Ambrose, whose real name is Jonathan Good, which is a hell of a wrestling name in and of itself, will star in Lockdown, the only movie where every scene takes place in a steel cage.
Yeah, that's right.
The second action film produced with Lionsgate as part of their six-pack movie agreement. Production starts this month on the film, which will be directed by Stephen Reynolds, Nathan Brooks, and Bobby Lee Darby. Which will be directed by Stephen Reynolds. Nathan Brooks and Bobby Lee Darby, who wrote See No Evil 2, wrote the script. The film follows a police officer who finds himself trapped inside his own precinct and hunted after crooked cops stop at nothing to recover incriminating evidence of illegal activities against those closest to him. And the other action film that is part of the Lionsgate WWE film studio films is Vendetta, which stars The Big Show, but nobody cares about. The deal for 6 action films was announced in May as a way, because it works so well with Knucklehead. Was announced in May as a way to showcase WWE talent in starring roles and help incubate new talent, according to the press release at that time. Lockdown will continue to energize and excite with the high level of adrenaline our fans have come to expect from our films, said WWE Studios president Michael Luisi.
So you have a movie where a cop is surrounded by a bunch of crazy people who are trying to kill him, and Dean Ambrose is going to be the cop instead of one of the crazy people.
Following being stretchered out of the arena after Raw on Monday, Dean Ambrose escaped from the WWE medical personnel, and the WWE says he is now at large.
Oh my God! So they're really gonna. Why didn't they just say that he was fucking injured? He got curb stomped, for Christ's sake. But if they're going to play off that he's at large, are we just going to get a bunch of vignettes now, like where Seth Rollins keeps getting jumped by someone backstage?
I hope so.
Pre-taped segments, something like that?
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I guess so.
Andy says, gotta go study my Thugonomics 101. Take care, gents. I would think At this point, you'd be a little above 101 if it's a 4-day course. But anyway.
Mm.
Next.
Shitty.
Shitty is a good word for this one. I actually kind of put this one in the middle so we can have a good laugh in the middle of the news segment.
Splendid.
In a WWE app interview before her match on SmackDown on Friday, Ava Marie said she deserved a shot at the Divas title since she pinned AJ Lee on Raw. Later during SmackDown, Eva Marie defeated AJ by countout. Here's what she said about deserving a title shot. Quote, I must say that is the biggest win of my career right now. I did pin the Divas champion, so I am entitled to that Divas championship title match. No.
Can't wait for Night of Champions. Eva Marie has... I'm going to go ahead and say she must not be a very good wrestler because they don't trust her to do a single move in any match. Like, she comes out... From what I've seen, she comes out, she kind of like blows kisses to the crowd and acts kind of heelish, and then the only thing I've seen her do is roll up AJ for a 3 count. That was the only move I saw her do.
You didn't watch NXT last week.
I did not.
You did not see the classic that was Ava Marie versus Bayley. So
you're saying like she was completely shitty in the match?
Oh my God, she was awful.
Okay, because I know the crowd was chanting "You can't wrestle" at her and giving her a hard time, but I mean they do that for the Miz too, and the Miz is not a terrible wrestler.
Yeah, so, but they're right about this one.
Okay, fair enough.
So
she could get better, maybe.
Thanks, Total
Maybe.
Divas.
Bring back JoJo. No, don't. No, just kidding.
Next.
Wa-sha-sha-sha.
It was reported this week, Davey Richards suffered a broken tibia at a TV show in Indiana, Pennsylvania. The spot happened...
Well, is it Indiana or is it Pennsylvania?
It's Indiana, Pennsylvania. The spot happened when he went for a baseball slide to the outside of the ring, and his foot got caught in the mat. Ouch.
Oh.
Same kind of freak accident that led to Rob Van Dam's broken ankle in ECW in '99. Richards wrote on Twitter, quote, thanks so much to everyone for the best wishes. Truly amazing. I'll be okay. Could always be worse. Could be Sid, after all. I can't help but be thankful for the injury. It truly shows the greatness of the fans and the place I work for. Human compassion is amazing, unquote.
Is there footage of that spot anywhere?
I haven't looked for it, but I'm sure you will.
I'm going to have to now. That sucks. Snapping your tibia.
Yeah.
If you want a point of comparison, if that video is not available on the internet anywhere, type in Paul George of the Indiana Pacers and see what pops up there, and you'll probably get the similar result.
I'm not going to do that.
No, all right.
Not going to do that.
Yeah, if you want, I'm just saying.
Next.
Wa-sha-sha-sha.
In what has to be viewed as a major blow for TNA, it is being reported that Bully Ray had a meeting with the roster at a house show this week in Hagerstown, Maryland, and said that he wanted to tell them goodbye as he didn't expect to be working with the company anymore. It is reported that Bully's contract is expiring and that that show was the last one he was contracted to appear on, so it appeared that they were unable to come to terms on a new deal. As the site notes, Bully and Devon are set to be inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame at Bound for Glory in October. We've talked about that before. The company also has one more match left in a series that he was involved in during the last Impact tapings, so they'll have to find a way to end the series without him if he is actually well and truly done with the company. During his time with TNA, Bully has risen to the top of the company through his time with Aces and Eights and has held the TNA World title. He was also, of course, involved in that big blow-off with Dixie Carter, where he put her through a table on Impact last week.
And fucked up her neck.
Or 2 weeks ago. He was also working as an agent backstage.
Are we starting the Bully Ray to WWE rumors right now?
I was just going to say, do you think that the Dudley Boys will come back to the WWE at some point?
If they can sign both of them, then yeah.
It worked for the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, kind of did, I guess. They did give him a tag title run. But pretty much if the Dudleys came back, all you'd be getting would be people being like, we want tables, and that's it. They were never, mat technicians. So, if they want to give them a couple more matches, fine. They don't have to be regular performers like the New Age Outlaws were for a little while. But yeah.
If the Dudley Boys come back to WWE, Bubba Ray has to regain his stutter,
Of course.
and Devon has to go back to being a preacher.
There you go.
And
And
Batista,
Bubba also has to go back to the orgasmic trance when he puts someone through a table.
and Batista can be his deacon again.
Yes. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed. Do you think Batista is a fitting opponent for Brock Lesnar?
Could be. I mean, it kind of falls into that thing that everybody's complaining about, where the old timers are getting shots over the new guys, and everybody would bitch that Batista was getting another title shot for no reason. But I mean, it's a character thing, and that kind of fits.
Well.
Or
So then you're not going to like my idea. Then you wouldn't like my idea of who the one person to challenge Brock Lesnar should be.
What's that?
Sting. Okay, maybe not.
That would be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Have Sting debut after all these months of hype, and then Brock just squashes the shit out of him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It'd be entertaining.
4 minutes, 8 German suplexes.
Yep.
F5. Good night, Sting.
One puddle of urine, blood, and vomit.
Hall of Fame.
Yep, there you go.
Next.
Wash, blah, blah.
Sure. Matt Taven posted the following on Twitter this week, announcing that he is not re-signing with Ring of Honor, saying, quote, "Hey guys, just wanted you to hear this from me. I've decided not to re-sign my contract with Ring of Honor and part ways for the time being. Thank you so much to everyone at Ring of Honor, wrestlers, office, staff, crew. The last couple of years have been amazing. Thank you." I know this is not a big story. He's a former television champion, but this is important to me because I know him, and he's a hell of a guy, and I would not mind seeing him on NXT at some point.
Well, let him team up with Bully Ray so we can get Tavon get the tables.
But because he is a very talented guy, and I have a feeling that he's gonna do quite well in the business.
Pull some strings for him.
So. Yeah, because
I know the hot dog.
I know the hot dog.
You know Adam Rose's hot dog.
Yeah, but so does Taven, so that's not a big thing.
Fair enough.
All right, next.
Washa-sha-sha.
And finally this week,
Ooh.
TNA has announced that Impact Wrestling will be moving to Wednesday nights starting this week.
Oh, that's quick.
Regular time slot, 9 p.m. Eastern. The move comes as rumors swirl that SmackDown will be moving to Thursdays, putting Impact in the tough spot of having to compete with SmackDown and also football. Seems as if they've made a proactive...
They don't want to go to war with the WWE again?
Seems as if they have made a proactive move to avoid going head-to-head with WWE. The show, of course, is in the middle of negotiations with Spike TV. The good news on this is that the show will no longer be up against the NFL preseason games or any games during the season should Impact be renewed. Of course, day switches always take a short time for audiences to readjust, so some early drops may occur. Here is their announcement. Quote, TNA today announced its flagship program, Impact Wrestling, will make a permanent move to Wednesday nights at 9/8 Central on Spike TV beginning next Wednesday, August 20th. Moving Impact Wrestling to Wednesday nights gives existing fans and new viewers an opportunity to enjoy both wrestling and live sports even more throughout the week, said TNA President Dixie Carter. Impact Wrestling has enjoyed sustained ratings growth this summer, drawing over 1.5 million viewers each week this quarter, and is among the most watched cable series and key male demos in its time slot. It's being reported that one of the reasons for the move absolutely has to do with the additional competition on Thursdays, which is becoming a popular night for TV again. It is a fair point. In addition to the NFL games on CBS, Thursday will feature the return of The Blacklist on NBC, which is a really good show, and Fox's anticipated Grace Point starting in October, all of which are expected to draw from the same demographic as Impact relies on. In further television news, TNA has announced that Impact Wrestling will remain on Spike TV through the end of 2014. The announcement, as made by Dixie Carter, says that the show will, quote, remain a vital part of Spike TV's programming on Wednesday nights, unquote, at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, and adds that negotiations are continuing for further renewal. The show's future, as you surely know, has been speculated on for some time now. There were reports that Spike had decided not to renew Impact, but those were shot down by TNA and Spike. Spike's president, Kevin Kay, recently visited Impact tapings in New York, which was a whole big thing. There were also reports that Spike would be willing to continue airing the show even if they didn't renew it, which we talked about last week, if TNA could just get a deal with another network. The show's Wednesday premiere is tonight, about 18 minutes ago, for its
Oh.
Hardcore Justice show. That's the first show on Spike.
That's not going to be a pay-per-view. That's just a show.
No, they only do like 5 pay-per-views a year now because they figured it out. But
okay.
So yeah, Hardcore Justice is just a regular old episode of Impact now.
Nice.
And it's
you know what I'm thinking is going to be pretty funny? You know what I think is going to be pretty funny?
What's that?
When Vince moves SmackDown to Wednesday nights.
Yeah. Yeah, the report
just to mess with them.
The report on SmackDown moving seems to be getting more and more steam as it's being reported now that the reason that is happening is because Sci-Fi is going to move Haven from Fridays to Thursdays and wants to
starring Edge.
Exactly, and wants to keep SmackDown as the lead-in for Haven because there's always been good ratings for Haven when it's on after SmackDown. So we'll see what happens.
That's surprising.
We'll see what happens. Well, it's got Edge in it. You know, people like Edge. So
yeah, better than reruns of Sharknado 2, I guess.
That's right. I saw about 5 minutes of Sharknado before the Riff Tracks Live Godzilla event last week, and holy shit.
It was awesome.
Oh, God, yeah, it was something.
Mm.
So that does it, I think, for the rundown.
Hey, wait a minute. One thing, I thought you said there was a tag team that was returning.
Yes, it was Wearing the World is Carmen Fernandiego.
Oh, okay, that's what
Los Matadores made their grand return on the main event this week. Hooray.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Yay.
Good to know. Now I can die happy.
Now you can rest easy. So that does it for the rundown for this Wednesday, August 20th, 2014. 163 days since the Usos won the WWE Tag Team Championship.
Will they lose them to the Pounds of Justice sometime soon? We'll see.
Probably. VCW Superstar Showdown live Saturday, September 13th at Gillis Field in Medford, Massachusetts. We'll go to vcwlivewire.com. Proceeds to benefit Medford Little League. It's coming out for that. APW presents Overload Saturday, September 20th at the APW Arena at the Newbury Fire Hall in Newbury, Massachusetts. Go to atlanticprowrestling.com. Lucky Pro Wrestling Caged Mayhem in Hudson, Mass. on Friday, September 26th. Go to Lucky Pro Wrestling.
Hudson will be there.
Go to luckyprowrestling.com. They have finally retired Weebly, and it makes me kind of sad, honestly. So luckyprowrestling.com. Elk Mania 2 is coming September 27th.
Yeah, that's right.
Mania.com or search for it on Facebook. And Liberty States returns in October, libertystateswrestling.com or Liberty States on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Rundown Podcast to watch me live tweet Raw. Andy and I actually both were live tweeting SummerSlam this weekend. I was unaware of some of the things he was saying until they were getting favorited and retweeted by other people because I'm not good at keeping up on that sort of thing. Send your feedback. Send your rundown Ryback theme songs. Send your catchphrase suggestions, your fake sponsors, your real sponsors, your Doctor Who creative wrestler templates for Pertwee through Hurt. Your questions for me to answer.
Teams you want to be named.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Your questions for me to answer on YouTube. Your Dear WWE letters. Your suggestions for Vince on how to cut the budget. And your wrestler combinations for Sean to make tag teams. For Raccoon Reigns to make tag teams of the next time he's here. You never gave us one for the Rock and Junkyard Dog.
Give me a moment. I'll get back to you.
That's what you said half an hour ago.
Well, but I was preoccupied with other things.
Sure. Or leave us a voicemail at 206-202-6478, 206-20-ANGST. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/rundown wrestling. Go to rundown.podomatic.com to make a donation of the monetary variety. Click the PayPal donate button on the right-hand side of the page. Donate at least $26 and go to tinyurl.com/distant horizons and pick up a PDF copy of this here chat book for, I think it's still $1.99. And you can be our official listener.
For only $1.99.
If you want to watch archived episodes of our Google Hangouts, go to youtube.com/rundown podcast and circle me on Google Plus at google.com/plus Adam Rundown Host.
Yep. By the way, the team name is called Dwayne the Junk Dogson.
Dwayne the Junk Dogson?
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Go to rundownwrestling.blogspot.com to read articles. Troy has not submitted his NXT rankings for this week, so hopefully that'll come
Aw.
pretty soon. And search for us on iTunes under the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. If you subscribe, you get the podcast delivered to you absolutely free each and every week for $0.00. If you cannot afford a donation of the monetary variety, you can leave us a 5-star review because that helps other people find us. If you leave us a text review, we will read your name and your review like these fine people. Truckee Kid 95 says, I'm a longtime career trucker traveling the country and meeting some side honeys. Every now and then I get a little tired and bored on the road and start to doze off, causing danger to everyone around me. This is all in the past now due to the rekindling of my old love for wrestling being recently lit. The Rundown Podcast keeps me entertained from the fantastic and erotic hosts, Adam, Andy, and Raccoon Reigns. It says erotic. Every now and then you catch a special guest to spice things up. Thank you, Rundown Podcast, for keeping me awake and for keeping the world safe. Without you, everyone might die. Just listen to the podcast, people. Truckee Kid out.
Nice. That person sounds familiar. That name sounds familiar for some reason.
And Bill Mailing says, I'm a WWE fan. I found these guys on Stitcher. I thought I'd listen. I liked what I heard. There was a great mix of humor in information. I really like the banter between the hosts and the information and analysis that they also provide. The hosts ask for feedback and allow input from their listeners on a regular basis through opinion polls that they post on various web pages and social media sites for the show. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and the Rundown is the most fun. Thanks from a fan of the podcast, Bill M., Somerville, Massachusetts. Thank you.
Hey, all right. Yeah. Wait a minute. Is that anybody we know?
I don't think so.
I don't think it is either. Somerville. Wow, I'm gonna go visit Bill M. Bill M. Holler. I'm like the next town over, 2 towns over from you, Bill M. So we're gonna go hang out this week. All right, buddy. Cool.
Just find the trash can with the raccoon in it, and if he bites you, that's right. Raccoon Reigns.
Yep, exactly.
Thanks. Oh no, I'm not done with that yet. And you can also find us on Stitcher. That is, of course, Stitcher.
Mother bitcher.
At Stitcher.com or the Stitcher app on your iOS or Google device. Again, search for the
Rundown Wrestling
Podcast.
Also can't forget September 1st, Pregnant Women's Boxing Federation presents Induced Labor Day. All right.
Under the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. Still free, but you don't have to download anything but the app. You stream it right from their servers. You can choose from your favorite of tens of thousands of podcasts, but why would you listen to anyone other than ours? Do what I do.
Yeah,
turn it on. Hit play, turn the volume way down, and go do something else. Get our numbers up. We want to be top of the list.
Mm-hmm. Soon, people. Soon.
Thanks to Tegan Brown for the logo. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to, if I can remember their names, Andrew, of course, and was it Steven? Or was it
and Josh?
It wasn't Josh. I think it was Justin.
There was a Steven and Josh.
I think it was Justin.
Or maybe it was Justin. It was Justin. Yeah, maybe it was Justin.
Who commented on the side this week. We always appreciate our viewers here on Google Plus who interact with the program and help things move along. And thanks.
Yeah, where the hell was Sal this week? Son of a bitch.
Thanks to Raccoon Reigns.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
And thanks to I Fight Dragons at ifightdragons.com for the theme song. Next week.
When are they going to make the goddamn Fandango 8-bit song like we asked?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Next week we will have Andy will be back with his doctorate. I know if you remember quite a while ago, Raccoon, you laid down a little slam poetry, and Andy promised that he would rebut, but he hasn't done that yet. So maybe with his brand new doctorate in thugonomics, we can get a rebuttal slam poem from.
Here's hoping.
So, and of course, Dr. Shelby will stop by to tell us what he's been up to since Kane and Daniel graduated from anger management school.
Oh, excellent. Andy can take that class as well.
And do you want to give him the catchphrase for old time's sake?
Oh, why not? Jacob, good night, and good luck. And Fan Dong, go fuck yourselves.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Don't listen to Andy. SummerSlam was a pretty good show. We live it on the network for just $9.99. All right, yeah. Ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da.
Not bad.
And we're still live on Google Hangout right now, right?
Google Plus with our one viewer who I don't
Oh,
know
we
who
still
it
do have
is,
somebody.
but I
If it's
don't think it's
Josh
Andy.
or
It might
Justin, I
still be
apologize for
Justin
butchering your
or
name.
Steve on the side down there watching the program on Google Plus.
Hi, people. Person. Hi, person.
Hi, human. Hi, person. It's
Mm-hmm.
a very Brian Regan thing to say. Hello, person.
Oh, wait. I forgot to stop recording.
But I have to cut that.
I'll let it run. I'll let it run.
No, don't let it run. Just because
Oh,
it's
okay.
going to take longer to transfer.
Fair enough. What episode number was this?
165.
165.
Use your little raccoon paws.
Mm-hmm.
Dial out the little raccoon numbers there.
Ow. Ow. Okay. Ow.
I'm going to get on
Ow.
Skype. And I
Oh,
will
yeah.
say good night, Google Plus.
Good night, Google Plus. It was good seeing you again. I hope you guys are not wrong about SummerSlam like Andy was.
Until next week.
Bye-bye.
We love you.
We do. It's true. Bitches.